welcome to Toad TV. I am Mary Beth.
I am Helen.
And we are the creative hands and minds behind Toad Hollow, where we dye yarn and make bags. My glasses are filthy. I'm so sorry we missed you guys yesterday. We went to the supermarket. That's all I need to say. Actually, we ventured off the island. And,
went to the supermarket. And who'd have thought down here that we'd have to stand in line to get into the supermarket?
Thank God.
I mean, we never figured that into our
noticed it.
Oh, Mary Beth's just going, I'm just going to go in. I'm like, hello.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not expecting a line at all, so there's a great big space where you go in. So I'm used to just, you go in, and Helen's like, no, I think there's a line. And I had seen out of the corner of my eye the two people that were walking across the parking lot ahead of us.
Yeah.
They were standing with a cart, but they were wiping down the handle. So, I mean, it's very conceivable that they just stopped to wipe down the handle. I didn't see the, three people in front of them.
Yeah.
And then two people came behind them and got in front of us behind them as I was almost going in. Things could have gotten ugly. So I'm really very, very thankful that Helen was paying closer attention to that, because she stopped me and she's like, no, there's a line. So we went and stood online, and we only stood online for 5 minutes maybe.
Yeah, we were contemplating, do we go to Walmart? Because we were at ShopRite. And I'm like, you're watching people leave, and I'm like, there's 4 people just left. So sooner, and we're only 8th in line.
Right.
So, and then all of a sudden he's like, okay, next 10 in. They move it as quickly as they can.
Right.
As efficiently as they can. The store is wide open. There are not a ton of people. So
they're trying very hard.
Yeah.
They really are.
And
it took a lot longer than we expected.
Much worse lines at other supermarkets and places to get in.
Oh, good Lord. Thanksgiving? Forget it.
Oh, no.
You stand in line for...
No, I'm talking just during the pandemic.
You mean then...
Just in other places. It's just that we never expected it, because our main thing has been going to the local Acme. I mean, we just don't have the population to create a line.
So and we will continue to go to the local Acme.
Yeah.
It's just there's certain things that either they don't have or are price inhibitive.
They just don't have the resources.
Right. So that we ventured over to ShopRite to get some things that we couldn't get at our local Acme. And just did a big shop, but it took over 2 hours.
Yeah.
So that it was just all our time that we had put aside for podcasting got sucked into the supermarket. So, God bless you.
Long story short, we're very sorry we didn't podcast yesterday.
Yes.
Are you going to come be on the podcast?
We have 3 out of the 4 pets within a 2-foot radius. All right, one of the things we did do was we stopped at the post office, and we got Happy Mail, which were cards.
Oh, he's so nice.
From Jason.
Look at my card. Jason, you make me want to make cards. This is so beautiful. He hand-colored those, because I've watched him do it on Instagram.
Stop it.
And then just a very happy note inside.
Sorry.
And then I love his
stop.
His note on the back. It says, this card was made by hand. If you throw it out, those same hands will make a doll in your image and stick pins in its butt. So I will never throw out my card. I would never throw out my card anyway. It's just so pretty. Thank you very much.
However, I'm seriously thinking of stealing that and putting it in all our bags. This is my card. Can you see the lady?
So pretty.
So gorgeous. And then inside, you have it there as well. He gave us an extra one to use if we wanted to. So thank you so much, Jason. This was such a lovely thing to open. I also there was junk mail, and I gave myself a paper cut with the junk mail. And then after we went in somewhere, I had to wash my hands with the hand sanitizer. I'm like, oh, there it is. 100% alcohol right into a finger cut. Okay, we have a bunch of questions and comments from the last couple of episodes that I highlighted. All right, so let me get to the beginning.
Let's start at the very beginning.
Okay, so flipping pages, I loved your idea of what you were going to take to the deserted island. She said a scope of some kind that could be converted to see out to sea, or the stars, or the birds and the plants. I think that was awesome. I love the idea of taking the scope with you. Rhonda says that she would take her elephant and all her crafts to the island. That way she could reach the coconuts and bananas with his help. I think that's brilliant. That's very, very smart. Heather said if she was given an elephant, she would name it Empringham, which, I'm sorry. You win. And she would knit it a jaunty hat.
Also, Heather was the random winner, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Heather, actually, you do win because you are the winner of the yarn.
So Heather's comment was the random generator, so you get the red sparkly yarn, and surprisingly enough, I know where you live.
We will send that to you. Beverly says her elephant would be miniature, so it could sleep with her and all the rest of the pets. That is very smart.
Yeah.
A couple other people said that they were going to be using the death rays or whatever to shrink it, and I think that's a very smart idea. Cynthia said that an elephant blew his nose on her when she was 4.
Oh my god, this one
This is Tabitha.
believe.
For those of you that don't know, this is Tabitha. Her dad had to take her home and change her outfit. It is not always water that comes out of their noses.
That is just awful.
I know, really? That was a very rude outfit. Darcy said that she would bring him to school with her every day, and he could be the class pet, and her third graders could use it. And when they get put into the take a break chair, they could pet his trunk until they calm down. I think that is amazing. Elephants as therapy pets.
Right.
That's great. Cheryl, or NWMI Cheryl, says that she would take her whips to the island and finish them. She thinks that the elephant would be handy in the city, much easier to parallel park than her SUV. I agree, because I'm pretty sure all the cars in front of you would get out of your way.
Right.
So, Betty said that because she is losing her ability to walk, her elephant would be a ride for her, and they could go on picnics at the river. And if she was stuck on the island, she would bring her knitting and crocheting and cookies. Lots of cookies. Betty, we are on the same wavelength, baby. You are my kind of woman. I loved this. Paradise Mom said she actually got a job saying she didn't know how to do it, but she was a very fast learner. I know that there are some places that would prefer to train you because you're coming in with no bad habits. So that if they want you to learn a specific program or something like that, I've run into that where they're really very happy that you know nothing about it, because that way you're a clean slate and they can train you the right way.
I remember when I graduated from college, I had a liberal arts degree, and I was saying to somebody that, maybe it wasn't the best degree to have gotten because I came out in a recession. It was a recruiter, and I remember him telling me, no, actually, at this particular time, it's the best thing because you are well educated, you know how to read and write, they know that because you made it through college, and they're going to teach you everything anyway, so you don't have any preconceived notions.
Right.
So they'll mold you into what they want. They just know that they're getting a literate person.
Right.
So.
Okay, I would like to say that Tabitha is half on my leg and half on Helen's leg, and being petted by both of us, and happy as
I was going to say, this is the way life should be.
Okay, Carol Reynolds has a story about gnomes, who are the guardians of nature and Mother Earth.
Okay.
When she was a child, gnomes were very popular and virtually at every house in the neighborhood. They were a small suburb in the south of England, and our area had local shops, a bowling green, and tennis courts. Slowly, over a period of weeks, gnomes started to disappear overnight. Eventually, no gnome was safe, and many people moved their treasured gnomes indoors to save them from being gnome-napped. Then, one summer's morning, the owners of the houses opposite the bowling green woke up and drew back their bedroom curtains to find that the whole beautiful, flat, grassy area was covered in, you guessed it, gnomes. The police were called. The gnomes were put in cells at the local police station. A plea went out in the local paper for people to come and identify their gnomes. Every single one was claimed. Hopefully they were not mentally scarred and didn't get a police record. So, Carol, my question
that is awesome. And
were you involved? Were you part of this? Because I think that's amazing. Okay. So I have had a couple of people leave me comments about the Mrs. Weasley and sending it to them and having them detangle it for me. Thank you very much. I did pick out, I have to, okay, I did pick out one comment that I'm going to send it to, that she's going to use it for her friend. So when I get to that, I will let you know. Okay, so Ginny says, 28 years ago, her godmother bought her children a laid-back gnome whom the youngest called Apple Duck, and he moved with them wherever they go. And she also says, why don't we have a gnome along as a bit of fun where we all make little gnomes? I think June, keep that in mind for June, because I think we're going to do a gnome along in June. All right, Fernie said that she spit her tea out when we pulled the yarn mass out of the bag, but for situation, excuse me, I have cat hair all over my screen now. It would be perfect activity for those who have concentration problems to completely unwind it. So, Fernie, could you get in touch with me? I am not sending you my Mrs. Weasley sweater. I have a mess of minis that I pulled out of a bag. I'm being literal. It's a mess, an absolute mess. I'm going to send them to you. You can unwind them and use them for whatever you like. I do not want them back because you are helping me declutter things.
My husband's been listening to podcasts and now we're decluttering.
So if you could please, well, I've been planning to do this for a while because they're minis that we're not using. They're just sitting around doing nothing. So if you could send us your actual address, we are toadhollowNJ@gmail.com, please. And I will send you the bag of mess and you can do what you like with it. Okay. Jennifer says that they love gnomes. Her husband paints them for them, but she also has a squirrel, an eagle, a stone turtle doves, and a tin goat. Because who doesn't want a tin goat hanging out next to a small concrete eagle? Yeah, please. Tin goats, yes. Kate Constantino said, what is the gorgeous turquoise yarn over Mary Beth's left shoulder? I'm going with She Sailed Across the Ocean. That is part of our fairy tale collection. And it is all different color blues with just a little bit of greens in there too.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
I knit a hat in it and I just love it.
So She Sailed Across the Ocean. Doris Campbell bought a 2-foot metal rooster today. He is gorgeous. I have seen those. There was one time when we were in Glassboro, we went to a garden store.
I think it was Marshall's.
Was it Marshall's?
Yeah.
He was kind of expensive. And we said that if we did well at the knitting show that we were doing the next weekend, we would come back and get him. And unfortunately, we didn't do well.
Was he... Oh, it was that one. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't do as well as we had hoped. So we didn't get to go back and get him. But I don't know whether you follow the bloggess online, but she has, I believe, a 5-foot metal rooster that she calls Beyonce, and she moves him around her yard, and she very often has him in the backyard peeking in her husband's office window looking at him while he's working. So she's very, very funny.
It's Jenny Lawson.
Yeah.
She's written a couple of funny books, so she is worth a follow.
Yes. Okay. Amy Mickelson says that she doesn't have crafting stores in this area. Okay, so the Starlight Stitchery is a needlework store that just opened.
They're relatively new within the year.
Yeah, and they're on the West Coast. However, they've just started a GoFundMe page to try and keep themselves going. They're doing everything they can to keep themselves going. But they said that the best way to support them is to buy stuff from them and they will send it out to you, so that if anybody needs anything and you don't have a local needle store and you want to support a small store,
I'll try and remember to put a link down below to them.
Okay. I am going to be ordering a whole bunch of floss from one of my projects that I'm starting in May, and I'm going to order it through them because I know we say that we go to Fat Quarter Shop all the time, but Fat Quarter Shop has enough people following her that she is fine.
Yeah, and spread the wealth. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they've actually put out a plea for help, and
Yeah.
why not? If we need stuff, get it from them.
Right. So we are going to be going to the Starlight Stitchery, and if you would like to help support them as well, please do, because we'd like to keep, even if it's not our local needle store, keep as many of them in business as possible.
And I know
pretty
they just got a whole bunch of new patterns from Market.
Yeah.
So they have patterns, they have kits. They have...
Judy Carlson Layton says she was wondering how we came to have our fun pets.
Okay, well, the cats we found in my mother's backyard.
The backyard here, actually. On 2 different occasions, Dudley was abandoned by his mother.
He was only like 3 days old. He didn't even have his eyes open. His name is Dudley because when we were bringing him up to the vet, he literally fit in the palm of my hand. And my mom was saying, you know, sometimes she was trying to tamper my enthusiasm. The mothers leave them because they're duds, and that it probably wouldn't make it. So, my 20-pound dud.
How old is he? We figured it out.
Dudley is...
She's 2011, so he must be 2009, right?
Yeah, he's 3 years older than she is.
So 2008?
So he's 12? Yeah,
So he's 12. Okay. And then 3 years later, my mother had Michaelmas daisies that just grew in the backyard, and they were very dense, so that the cats used it as coverage. And one of the cats had a nest in there, and my mother didn't realize it, and she turned a sprinkler on. And I went out, and I'm like, is that a catbird? Because there was something, you couldn't see anything, but it sounded like a cat meowing. And we followed the sound of the noise, and she had been left in the nest, and she was getting drenched by the sprinkler. So we turned the sprinkler off.
And she was, what, about 10 days old, we figured?
Yeah. We moved her out and put her on a towel, and we saw one of them, the wild cats, come and sniff her and then went away, so we figured they were not going to be taking her because I'd gotten my smell on her by moving her. So we adopted her. Dudley every now and then likes to try and get outside. Tabitha has adopted the indoor life completely and wholly. She is very happy. She's, you know, I've been outside, didn't like that, so I will spend the rest of my life very happy being pampered inside.
And Marybeth saved her. Marybeth fed her, did everything, the expressing and everything like that. And Tabitha is an absolute terror to her.
She's getting better. Like within the last few months, she has gotten much better, and she is now accepting me now that she is 11 or 9. She's 9. She's decided I'm okay.
And the dogs, my mother stayed late at work one night many, many years ago. And we were going back and forth via text or email or something, and she bought a dog. She was flitting online, she lost her mind, and she bought a dog. She bought a full-blood corgi puppy that was in Arkansas. And I get this text going, hey, you want to drive to Arkansas tomorrow? And I'm like, okay, well, I'm supposed to be at work, but sure, why not? So I texted her, and I'm like, we're going to Arkansas. I'm like, okay. So we drove back and forth to Arkansas over the weekend, brought Dickon home, and that's my mom's dog.
That was February 2007.
Yeah, and then in 2009, I was at work, losing my mind, and I was looking on Pet Finder, and I found a puppy, and I sent it to Mary Beth, and I'm like, I want to get this puppy. His name was Dakota. She jumped right on. So I called about Dakota, and I said I wanted to get Dakota, and Dakota was taken, but she had 4 others in the litter. So she sent me pictures of the 4 others in the litter, and there was one, and he was sticking his tongue out at me.
His name was Diego.
And I said, all right, I'll take Diego. So we were supposed to drive out. They were in Ohio, so we were supposed. It was the week before Christmas, and we were supposed to drive out and get him, and there was a snowstorm, and we couldn't go. So I called her, and she wasn't going to hold him. And I'm like, look, I want him. I will FedEx you the money, the adoption fee. Could you just please hold him until right after Christmas? So she did. We drove out to get him, and we were playing with him, and
we're in this little room where they bring you
so you can see him and make sure you still want him.
I'm trying to get him to come play with me. He wanted nothing to do with me.
And there's this dog making all this ruckus, and they're like, it's his crate mate. They've been together since they were born. She just doesn't know what's going on. Can we just bring her in so she can see? So they brought her in. She climbed to Maribeth's lap and fell asleep. Her adoption had fallen through.
Her name was Daisy.
So we brought home Daisy and Diego, who within 10 minutes became Spike and Drusilla. It's the best thing we ever did. So,
hands down, 17 hours, start to finish. We drove out. We went through every single weather.
Yep.
Sun, fog, rain, snow, sleet. We hit it all. We had absolutely no idea. We had these tiny little collars that we stopped at a rest stop because they had vomited in the travel case. Stopped to clean them out, put their collars on and their leashes, and they immediately walked right through them because they were too big. These tiny, tiny little collars that now wouldn't fit around their back leg were way too big for them.
Look at him, look at you. That's right, you almost killed me.
I know. It's okay. I've made up for it since then.
And then we got home at like midnight, and we brought them in the backyard, and we had other cats at the time, one of whom's name was George. Big orange tabby, and
he was feral when we got him, so that
and they came up to the back door, and George literally just threw himself at the back door, and he was hissing and spitting, and I'm like, oh God, Mary Beth, this isn't gonna work. And it all worked out.
It did.
Everybody
worked
got
out.
along. I mean, cats can jump. So.
Yeah. Everything was fine, right? And we have had many, many, many adventures with them, and
yeah,
I will never, ever go back. Never. All right, so that is the story of the pets. Okay, I have to get that out. Okay, so here we go. Donna has lots of fairies and things in her garden up at the Adirondacks. She's got a Madonna, hedgehogs, dragons. She's also got a wet medicine wheel. Oh no, they're in her shade garden, her medicine wheel, her front porch, and the hearth. Currently, they are all living in the basement. And then she said, as she's rereading this, she has a bunch of outside stuff she realizes. But she's not going to kid herself in thinking that if something else comes into her life, she's going to welcome it. I agree with you. I think it sounds fantastic having all those spread out throughout your gardens. I think that's amazing. Okay, so Irene wants to know, she's got a question. What is the wildest thing you wanted to be when you were growing up? She wanted to be a trapeze artist.
I don't know.
I wanted to be a jockey.
I mean, a ballet dancer, but that's not really wild. That's just a typical girl.
Yeah, I wanted to be a jockey for a while. For a while, I thought I was going to work on the Star Trek Enterprise. That never happened, so. But, okay, so Laura P. says that she's getting her yard cleaned up and organized, so she'd like to get a gnome, but she can't seem to find one that she would like. And she says it's disappointing to put so much work into a sweater and not have it turn out, which is why she hasn't made one yet, but she's getting close. Okay, so I saved this one because Laura, take the plunge. Find a color that you love and start with a classic sweater. Tin Can Knits has a couple of them that are free, that they start with infant sizes and work their way up to full-on adults. So if you want to make a child-size sweater, if you have a child that you want to start with, or even if you want to make one for yourself, do it. Yeah. Because it's very satisfying.
If you're picking one on Ravelry, and you're familiar with how Ravelry works, since it's your first sweater, I would make sure that a lot of projects have been made from that sweater.
Right.
If it's not like a proven design, I mean, if it's Isabel Kramer or Tin Can Knits or something like that, their patterns are very well written. and well tested. But if it's somebody who's not that well known and you're first time knitting, you want to make sure that there are a lot of projects and that people don't have issues with the pattern. And sometimes it's not issues with the pattern, it's just you need to be a more experienced knitter to work your way through a pattern.
Right.
So
The reason I said Tin Can Knits is because they are working with beginner knitters and they have instructions of why you're doing a gusset, and well, that's for their socks, but they explain why you're doing certain things.
Yeah.
Why are you doing a raglan sleeve? What is a raglan sleeve? That kind of thing. They explain it all for you. So if you start with one of those, you know you're going to start with something that's well written and geared towards beginners.
and then you just take it one step at a time. I know they tell you read the whole pattern. Go ahead, read the whole pattern. Do not get set off by it. And then just literally one step at a time. If the 10 steps down the road doesn't make sense to you, when you get to it and you're actually doing it, it's like, oh, okay, that's what they meant.
Yeah. So that, and the other thing is I would recommend starting in DK or sweater weight, like a worsted or an Aran weight.
Don't start with a fingering weight.
Don't start with a fingering weight sweater because they'll take forever to finish. But doing a DK one. Oh, the Carbeth uses DK held double. I did that in like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
It flew off the needles. So that is a great one to do too. And it's a fantastic sweater. Whenever I wear it, I always get so many compliments on it because it's such a neat pattern. So the Carbeth by Kate Davies is the designer. That's a great one to start with. Okay. Kathy Moses says that she doesn't have statues, but she has wind chimes, which I love.
Especially
I
down
really
here.
love.
Yeah, the only thing is with our wind chimes, we have to bring them in every now and then just because the winds get so high.
Well, that's because that's her other thing. She said she might get a gnome now. You keep them out all year? I think a lot of people do keep them out all year. We do not bring them in because of snow or rain. The only time we bring stuff in is if there's a high wind advisory and we're talking hurricane strength winds. Other than that, we leave it out. Nor'easters, everything, they just stay out because most of them are fairly heavy.
But, I mean, the other day, like last week, we had a day where we were getting 70-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, it was blowing things around and we had to run out and grab stuff.
Yeah.
It was just, we didn't want them to break.
Because we didn't think ahead of time.
Window. So,
to get them in. But
when they say wind advisory, you get winds on the island.
yeah.
They should say, we mean it. It's hurricane force winds.
Helen, bring in your garden gnome. Janine is the one that asked. She has a neighbor who needs bright clothes to help her with her depression in the wintertime. So if we don't want to finish it, she would like to. Janine Anderson, please send me your address. I am going to send you the mess that is the Mrs. Weasley sweater. It's a mess. I'm warning you, but I'm sending you the yarn barf and everything that's attached to it. I just took it and stuck it in a bag. Please, just send me your information because it's a cardigan, no matter what size. I'm slightly bigger, so that it was made for a bigger person, so that it should fit anybody, even if it's just wrapping it around themselves. So yes, and her friend or her neighbor gives her starts from her rose garden, which I think is great.
Yeah.
So you can have finish it up, give it to her, and name that rose the Toad's Rose. There you go. Then you will have a toad in your garden. Okay, that is it on comments and questions, which was quite a bit. So here we go. Here's the question of the day.
Since we've gotten no crafting done over the last several days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As far as showing anything, no,
Yeah.
there's nothing. We have nothing. Okay.
Literally yesterday, I did not knit a stitch, cross stitch anything.
Nope.
I
We
did
were winding
nothing
minis.
crafty. Yep.
Okay. The question is, what reality show do you think you would be very good on? And what reality show do you think you would be very bad on? So I was talking to Helen about reality shows, and for me right now, they are a great relief because there's something that I can relate to. It's not like they're superstars or anything like that. They're real people. That's what reality shows are. So that I could see myself in their position. There are quite a few that I have absolutely no desire to do, but you can still see yourself
It's
in
also
them.
mindless. I mean,
And
it's just
it's fun.
Sometimes you just get caught up in the drama.
Right. So which one do you think you would be really good at?
Okay, by reality show, I'm going by stuff that I watch.
Yes.
Okay.
We are leaving out things like The Bachelor and Real Housewives and all that kind of thing because we don't watch them.
That's right. No, think it's fairly obvious that I would not do well on any of those. So the ones that I would be good at, I'm going Great British Bake Off or making it.
Okay. Making it would be good.
Yeah. I like to bake. I want to be on the Great British Bake Off. I probably wouldn't last very long.
I'm pretty sure my pie would have a soggy bottom.
My pie would have a soggy bottom, and also the technical. When you leave crap out for me, it's not good. The brain shuts down. But as far as being on a reality show, my best showing would be on one of those two.
Well, I was thinking Top Chef too, because I can cook. However,
they would eat you alive.
Oh, they would. They would. It's just I can cook.
Oh yeah, so, and I'm not even talking about your cooking skills. I'm just talking about personality-wise. They would eat you alive.
Oh yes, yes. I was thinking, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Celebrity Edition? I'm pretty sure I would do pretty well on that.
The bar is not high.
I was going to say I would excel
you
on the Masked Singer.
You wouldn't even need me behind you.
But that's not true. No, I think making it is a really good one because I do think that we would do well on that.
Because I'm pretty sure that they get those challenges ahead of time so that you do have time to... Because I was actually really thinking about that. I'm like, would we be able to think on our feet that quickly? And I'm like, I don't think they have to think on their feet. So you and I are creative enough. We're not afraid of power tools or anything like that as far as making something big.
Right.
And I think that would be a lot of fun.
And I do think that I am good at thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Whereas you see something... we have started watching Lego Masters, and we were watching the one...
I'm not sure about that. But
as far as you want to continue watching it?
Yeah, it's just so over the top. But
some of the people are, yes. But their creations are amazing.
Yeah.
And there was one group, they had this, we just finished watching the one where they got half an object, and they had to build out from half that object. And one group got a laptop, and they were completely lost as to what to do with the laptop. And Helen and I were looking at each other and saying, you can get anything on the internet.
Right.
So you could have a ghost coming out of this or a monster. You're looking at the monster on the screen and you have his other half coming out. I mean, you could do so much.
Based on what we do, you could have like a sweater coming out of it because you're looking at a knitting pattern.
Right. And what do? They build some guy who's...
work off.
Because all they could think of was you use a laptop for work, and so it's got to be work related.
Because they didn't get the item they wanted, they were just their brains just shut down. They couldn't even think. So.
And it was really, their final product was very good.
Yeah.
But the amount of time they spent going back and forth as to what they should be doing, where they could have come up with something so fantastical, they went straight along the work route. Okay, so... which game show would you be, or which reality show would you be very bad at?
Jeff would send me home the minute they put me on the boat. Survivor. I love that show.
I know.
I will watch every season of that show.
We've been doing it for 40 seasons.
One of the very few reality shows that I would seriously consider going back and rewatching. But I would not. So, personality-wise, they'd send me home. You get me on no sleep and no food.
Oh, it's not nice.
Yeah, I'm going to be telling these people what I really think.
Nice.
And
I put it down to...
then you tell me that, you have to go into the woods to go to the bathroom.
And not to use a toilet.
And they've taken away the yucky eating challenges, so that's not even an issue, but it's just, no.
Sleeping on the ground?
Yeah, no. And some of the bugs they show.
And the bug bites that they get.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, if it has a social game attached to it where you have to be nice to people, I'm not going to work.
I think I could force myself to do. In prime conditions, if you've got $1 million hanging out there for me, I can be nice to people.
But you're not in prime conditions.
No. That's what I'm saying. Survivor wouldn't work. But a social game where, like Big Brother or something like that, I've got $1 million and that's the carrot. I can be nice to people. I've got running water, I've got food and sustenance, and I can sleep. The fact that I have to sleep with other people might be an issue. Sleeping in the same rooms with other people. But
I don't think I could do it because I've gotten to the point where and I would think you even more than me, do not suffer fools gladly.
No,
so that it's just.
I mean, I know how to. I was raised properly.
Yes.
So
it's just, if I'm dealing with it in a small section, for a short amount of time, then yes, of course. If you're putting me in there for several weeks, the facade's going to crack. Things are going to happen. Words are going to be said.
Anyway, so what's your worst?
Anything with the social game.
Oh.
But also...
I mean, what did you have in mind? Was it Survivor?
Survivor. The one that I would love to do the most is The Amazing Race.
Right.
I would never make it. I would just absolutely never make it. And I'm not even talking the physical challenges. I'm talking height.
I was going to say the challenges have become so extreme.
They make... Everything has height.
Yeah.
So that no matter what you do, you're going to have to... And they've made them so... It used to be... They always had the thing where you had to bungee jump off the bridge, or you could walk down a 3-mile path and get something and then come back again. Which I always thought, okay, you just know going in, I'm not doing the height thing, I'm not doing the jumping off the bridge. You go and you get... whatever's going to be the longer one, and you just keep going and hope you're far enough ahead of people and do that. Yeah,
but they've gone much more for the TV aspect of it.
They've got ones where you've got to...
I mean, when you're rappelling face first down, a skyscraper.
Or where you're jumping off the girder to try and grab the... Yeah. Remember that one where they had to grab the bag?
And if you don't grab it, you've got to go up and do it again?
And it's like 50 stories in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't even get me on the girder, let alone... I would fall off. I am so terrified of heights. I couldn't do it. Some of them, you would have to push me off. I would figure they're not going to kill me.
We need a geriatric version of the Amazing Race.
Yes.
So they don't expect me to jump off things.
Right.
But I get to travel around the world and because I'll do the physical and... like where they had to go searching through the hay bales and that kind of thing. And I know it can get frustrating and...
You're working on limited sleep.
Right, and you're in your worst conditions.
However, Helen and I work well together, and even if we snap at each other, we don't hold it against the other.
And I mean, if I'm cheering you on the sidelines and Mary Beth says, you're just not helping, then I'll shut up.
She knows not to do it, But also, we both drive a stick. So that's one hurdle that's already taken care of, because that's one of the first things that people fail at. They're like, I don't know how to drive a stick. The show's been on for 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, now that for the most part, there's at least one of them. If you don't
know how to drive a stick, you should not be on this show. It's kind of like with people who go on Survivor who can't swim. You're on an island. Yeah. You know there's going to be swimming involved. Learn to swim.
Yeah.
So that, Which is, honestly... This past season, where they voted off the Olympic swimmer. Oh. The first one that they voted, one of the first ones, or no, I guess it was last season. One of the first ones they voted off was the Olympic swimmer out of their tribe. How stupid are you?
Yeah.
I mean, 3/4 of your challenges are inside the water. Keep the swimmer. Come on.
When you go individual.
Yeah, but keep her until you get there. Yeah. My God, she's going to be carrying you literally through the water.
All right, so leave in the comments below which reality show would you be good at, which one would you be terrible at, and we'll pick a prize.
Yes, we are. We actually have a Nick crate that we'll give away to somebody.
Okay.
We have another Nick crate, so we will give that away on the next episode. We'll pick one of your questions or one of your comments. But I've been back listening to back episodes of a particular podcast, and they have recommended The Circle. And they say, you have to get through the first episode. Everybody says they can't get through the first episode because the people are so terrible, but everybody calms down after that. And if you get through the first episode, it actually is very, very funny and it's really kind of fun to watch. And then they also said, I think, was it Love Connection? I don't know. The one that Linda Holmes was talking about too. The one where they get engaged before they can see each other.
I don't think it's called Love Connection. But
no, it's something else. Okay, there's another one. They were recommending that one too. But we shall see. Anyway, so have a great day, everybody.
Yes.
Fiber Festival tomorrow. We are going to be on at 2:15.
Yes.
If you want to join us, the link will be down below. You have to sign up ahead of time. when we talked to her on Wednesday, she only had 60 out of 100 people registered, so there very likely may be still spots available if you want to do it.
Okay.
Okay, we will see you guys.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.